What's up, fam? This is your Professor Karriemah Lotus with episode 10. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness, we've had so many wonderful things to talk about on BBI Talks. And of course, BBI Talks is the place where Black business owners discuss issues that matter. And so we have had just a wonderful array of different conversations that really matter to us, from Black businesses being featured for my birthday. And thank you for all the Black-owned businesses that came onto my show. I am so humbled and so grateful that you came on and honored us the way you did. We've also discussed issues like reparations. And I thank you to the Reparations Institute for always being willing to come on to my show and just educate us on all the different aspects of reparations. I want to thank those who talked about how to profit from farming, whether it be Brother Patrick Muhammad from Your Faith Farms to Brother Tenicio Cianima with Nature's Candy Farm. Thank you so much for coming on to BBI Talks and just sharing the things that we want to know. So today is no different. I have, an absolutely tremendous brother who is joining us today. And his name is Brother James Muhammad. He is the student minister out of South Haven, Mississippi. And he is just here to share with us his personal experiences of him contracting the virus known as COVID-19. And I know some of you think, oh, COVID doesn't exist. That's just the flu. That's just propaganda. That's just conspiracy talk. I know. We're tired of the deep fake news. I get it. I'm tired of it too. But I wanted to bring him on today because he is a real deal Holyfield. He has experienced this. He is willing to share his experiences. So I'm letting you know right now, if you have questions, I want you to send your questions to me right now so that we can ask dear brother everything that we want to know about COVID-19. So before we get started, you know how we do. We always get things started the way we should. And that's with the opening. So here we go. Thank you, Brother Ooyiman, for my intro.
We gotta bring businesses back. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. Glad that I know where I am.
James, because it looks like we're having technical challenges here.
We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. Glad that I know where I am.
All right, here we go. Brother James, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum, my sister.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much for joining BBI Talks, Brother James. Thank you for coming on the show. We have so much to talk about, so but if you wouldn't mind, please introducing everyone to where you are.
Yes, ma'am. I'm student minister James Muhammad, the coordinator of the South Haven Study Group here in South Haven, Mississippi. I've been in the Nation of Islam for over 30 years, helping the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan consistently, all praise is due to Allah. I am a Shelby County firefighter in the city of Memphis, where I contacted the COVID-19 virus,
All right. And so what was that like? You know, kind of give us the background of how you contracted it and how you knew you got it, or did you know?
Excuse me, I mean contract the virus. Well, sister, being a Shelby County firefighter, we have to put ourselves in the line of fire, and we know how the hospitals and emergency rooms feel now with patients who are sick with the COVID-19 virus. We're the first line of fire because we have to transport them. But also, we're around people all day, and we're confined to the fire station, where men who go home and they mingle with their family and their friends, and they might bring it back to the fire station. I do believe I contracted at the fire station because I remember being in a lieutenant's class, and there was several of those in the lieutenant's class also came down with the virus also. Mine kind of snuck up on me. I went to work one day and I was at the fire station. I remember working on my boat while I was at the fire station during our downtime, and I started feeling nauseated. And after I started feeling nauseated, I went inside and took my fever. And I had a fever just 99. And I remember saying to myself, well, I'm not going to go home. We're not going to catch a house fire. So I took a couple of Advils and I went to bed. About 2 in the morning, we caught a house fire. My luck. And
wow.
I remember donning my equipment, which is approximately about 75 pounds of equipment, and going to put out the house fire. I remember feeling very tired and the equipment feeling very heavy. And I think I stood there for approximately about 5 minutes, and I said, something is wrong. But I looked to my left, and there was another firefighter, and he was looking the same way I was looking.
Oh, wow.
He was actually in the lieutenant's class with me. And he told me he was feeling nauseated, and he was running a fever. So we went back to rehab and checked in. They took out temperatures, and both our temperatures was up. So we went straight to the emergency room from there. And we spent hours in the emergency room, and the doctor came in with the bad news and said, you both have the coronavirus. And they prescribed us, probably about 7 different medications. And one of the most important ones, Tylenol with codeine. And I was like, I don't take medication, you know, I deal with it. He just looked at me like, yeah, right. So on my way home, I stocked up on my fruits and vegetables and fluid, and my vitamin D, vitamin C, my zinc, and my herbs. And I think the first day I felt okay, but after the first day, it came down. And it's a feeling like you'll never feel I felt before. It's the flu times 10. And it's different. And,
wait, let me stop you right there, Brother James, if you don't mind. I just want to roll this back just a little bit. And because I want to make sure we don't miss anything. Okay. So when you were at the hospital, what was the testing procedure like? Were they still using the swabs, or were they taking blood, or a combination of the two?
Well, they used the swab on us and the temp and, you know, the regular vital sign. But I knew I haven't been to and I knew something was wrong. Okay. My body was different. And I said, I have contracted this virus. I knew it then. And because I've never felt so tired before and so drained and mentally drained. And so really, yes, I wasn't surprised when she came back and told me I was positive.
Okay. And so some of the medications that they prescribed, and you mentioned the codeine. Do you remember what some of the other medications were that they prescribed for you to take?
Yeah, I remember one was naproxen, anti-inflammatory, to help combat the fever. The Tylenol with codeine was to help combat the fever also, but with the body aches. Some serious body, some ear pain and headaches and your skin. So it feels like someone's pulling your skin off, and every joint is inflamed and hurting also. And me, I played football.
Oh, wow.
shoulder surgery. So every place I had surgery at or injury from playing sports was inflamed and was hurting also. But you was giving strength. You was getting strain type of pain between your fingers and your nerve endings and your fingernails and your toenails. I mean, it's a strange feeling. And on top of that, you know, everything from your waist down feels like you've been ran over by a truck. And when I'm saying pain, you don't want to walk, you don't want to move, you just want to sit. I sat on the couch for 6 days straight. I slept on the couch, sitting up.
Wow. That's something. I mean, that you're sharing this with us because, the thing that we're commonly hearing is, respiratory, the fever, not necessarily hearing about, the aches in the joints and some of the other discomforts that you express. And the reason why it's important for us to slow it down and share these symptoms is when whoever is watching this show that may be experiencing these symptoms and thinking, oh, that's just the flu, or, oh, I just, worked out and I'm just sore from my workout, they'll pay more careful attention to what their body is telling them. So say that you had these aches from your waist down, were you able to walk? Was it difficult to walk? Was that something that was immediate, or did it take a few days before that began to set in?
It don't affect your ability to walk, it affects your will to walk. Because I remember one time I said,
oh, wow,
I was going to make me some coffee. So I made it to the kitchen and I made some coffee. A few minutes later, I looked up and I didn't turn the coffee on. And it took me approximately from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the evening to get up and go back just to hit that button. And then when I take the coffee tastes funny. So I realized I was about to lose my taste because the virus affects people differently. Some people are they're breathing. I didn't have any problem with breathing. I didn't have a serious cough. My serious problem was the pain that went through my body, the headaches, the earaches, not being able to sleep. So I've always tried to sleep sitting up because coming from the medical field, I knew this virus can affect your lungs. Now, I didn't have a lot of mucus, but the doctor told me before I left, he asked me about my lifestyle because your lifestyle will affect the way this virus affects you. And I told him I practice a certain type of I work out every day and I eat properly. He said, you have all that in your favor. He said, you will do fine. He said, he said, your 6th day is going to be your hardest day. If you can make it through your 6th day, then you won't have to come back and see us. So How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is my preventive medicine. So I thank Allah for, over 30 years practicing How to Eat to Live, because in my diet is my medicine. So, but it affects people different. Right now, I have several. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to go back to what your life regimen is. And, for those who know you, and please, I do encourage you to follow brother, because he has a lot of wonderful things that he shares. And one of the things that you share on a consistent basis is your walking, your hiking, your fishing, you're very active. And so I just wanted you to share, with the audience, like, is there a certain number of miles that you walk or run in a day, in a week? What is that lifestyle? Just so we can kind of, maybe make adjustments to our own lifestyle that put us in a better position to be able to fight COVID should we contract this virus.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm a biker. I try to bike at least 40 miles a week. I'm a hiker. I try to hike at least when the sun is shining, no less than 3 miles. I stay in the weight room. I shoot basketball. I'll be 57 in a couple of months. And one thing I realized, we have to change our lifestyle. Black people, particularly in the South, we don't get enough sun. And there are studies that are coming out now that 80% of the patients who have contracted this virus, there's a vitamin D deficiency. You can take all the vitamin D you want to. You need to exercise and get out in the sun. We are sun children. you know, and the sun activate our melanin. So every day I try to find myself getting no less than 20 minutes of sun. If I'm at work, I have to find a window where the sun is shining through, and I just bathe in the sun. So the sun is your first line of preventive care in this virus. Then how to eat to live. Now, we all haven't mastered how to eat to live. But if you talk to those who are at the fire station around me, they tease me. They, you know, when they get ready to eat, they say, well, go get him a grass burger. Just go get him some grass. Because I refuse to alter my diet, especially during this time. And, you know, sometimes we deviate, but the 1 meal a day and going and studying these 2 books, How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, this is our preventive care. You know, there's no way around it. And the doctors are telling us every day. I heard Dr. Fauci say, he said, get in the sun. The virus hates the sun. And they are baffled because when you look at these areas like Africa and Brazil and places where the people live in the sun, look how the virus have affected these countries. But look at us.
That's right.
And particularly Black people in the South. You know, we've been trained to stay out of the sun. You know, because we don't want to get you better get your backside in the sun.
Which is very crazy. And that's one of those legacies of slavery when we start getting into colorism.
Exactly. You know, and one thing I learned, you know, when I had that virus, I would get enough strength to go sit in the front yard and just sit there in the sun. And I remember my neighbor walking past me, and she looked at me, and it was a Caucasian lady. She said, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "I have that virus." And she didn't run. She said, "Would you mind if I pray for you tonight?" I said, you know, I said, "Pray, please pray." But you know, I'm reminded of the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan. He prayed for the essential workers, you know. And I knew I was going to be okay. You know, I just had to face this little difficulty.
That's right.
He prayed for the essential workers. He told us we're going to be all right. Your faith now, and Allah who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, you know, is preventive medicine. But we don't believe in a mystery God.
Right.
We have to put into work the teachings and the things that he taught us on how to eat to live, exercising, and restrictive law. And the ministers told us to continue to practice quarantine. Now, us essential workers, we have to go to work. We have to be around people who have a different outlook on this virus.
Right.
You know, some don't want to wear their mask. They divided this thing up over political lines. I work with people who are with Trump. They don't believe in wearing a mask. You know, so we see this thing now divided up, but we have a divine guide in the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So, but that doesn't mean we're not going to come in contact with this virus. But if we're stored up, you know, on how to eat to live, self-improvement, the basis for community development, our prayers, our fasting, then we will conquer this virus.
And, you know, I'm glad that there's so many powerful points that you touched on, dear brother. I want to, you know, unfortunately, one of the challenges that we had in today's show was I had some video clips that I wanted to present. And one of those video clips consisted of a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he was recently participating in the Nubian Leadership Circle conference. It was a virtual conference. And I just want to take the time to read a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan regarding the vitamin D that you mentioned and the importance of this. He said, "You need pills? You are already on death row and don't even know it. So now you're a perfect host for the COVID virus. That's why it's killing us. But it's not that we don't have the means to do that. We don't really need the vaccine. We need more vitamin D."
Yes, ma'am.
He said, then he continues and he says, "Brothers and sisters, I heard my African sister talking earlier. We're talking about our people in the Caribbean. In the little island that my mother is from, St. Kitts, I think they had 0 deaths from the COVID-19 virus. Do you know why the virus is not hitting the Caribbean like it's hitting America and Europe?" I hope now that's a cliffhanger right there. Pay attention to what he said. because we live in the sun. Because we live in the sun. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me that in the sun, there are billions of vitamins that you can't get in anything that is created except through the sun. And so I just wanted to share that. Of course, that is from the internationally acclaimed Final Call, right? So please get your copy. If you don't see the brothers with a mask in a city near you, feel free to get a subscription or even do the digital edition of the Final Call. But it's in the edition Black America Surviving the Enemy's Death Plot. And so I just thought it was just so key to read the minister's words about the vitamin D, because many of the people who I've been talking to, because we have been quarantined, we end up with a lot of vitamin D deficiencies, which leaves us vulnerable to contracting the virus. And so it's important that we understand that aspect. Obviously, that is not necessarily going to be the absolute protection from us contracting the virus. However, it is something that we can do as a preventative measure to help to build our immune system to fight it, so that we don't get it, or we don't succumb to it to the point where we become so gravely ill by it that we end up making transition because our body simply cannot fight it. And you are, the reason why I really want to go on, Brother James, is because you're a living testimony of someone, you know, by Allah's grace and mercy, to not only contract it, but to fight it. And here's the other thing. As you have been working as a first responder, for only be the first time you get it, speaks volumes to your immune system. And so I wanted to get into what is How to Eat for those who are not familiar with those two seminal books. What is How to Eat to Live? What are we talking about? Is it a vegan plan? Is it a vegetarian plan? What is How to Eat to Live?
Well, sister, I'm glad you asked this question, because I love to get in touch with my spiritual side. You know, when we talk about quarantine, sister, quarantine doesn't mean just stay in the house. The sun shines in your backyard. When I go hiking, I get so lost in the woods, I'm by myself. There's so many things we can do during this time to improve our health. Go to a forest, go to a lake, lay out in the sun, but stay away from people. So if you're confining your family to the house and you're not getting sun, then you end up with what we call seasonal depression syndromes. You have to, it's not natural for people. We're not vampires. It's not natural for us to go without the sun. So, you know, not only, see, my testimony is, not only did I sit out in the sun a lot, but I'm in touch with the Son of Man. So that's the most important aspect.
Yeah.
See, you can listen to the scientists. You can read all the books you can. But see, divine revelation comes before science, and then Allah tries us with our patience. Then we use science to prove divine revelation. Listen to the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan. When President Trump was saying the virus is over and they began to open up the bars and send American people back out, the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan told us on July 4th, stay with quarantine. It is not over. He said this is a pandemic from heaven. So the solution, pestilence, excuse me, thank you, sister, from heaven. So the solution is not going to come from their scientists. It have to be a divine solution. So it starts with how to live. You know, how to eat to live, you know, it's plain. The book started off by saying God who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, you know. So it's not the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talking, it's God talking through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we have to submit to the God. Oh, because why? We live in a world now. In this article where it says that 80% of Black people and Latino people in the inner city are vitamin D deficiency. We're vitamin D deficiency because they state that we're not finding it in our food. The question is, well, you read the labels and you go into the grocery store, you buy all this food. Why are we not getting the vitamin D from our food? Why are we not getting it from our milk? Well, we're eating Frankenfood. And we've never been taught the proper way to eat, the proper way to shop. We just can't keep running to McDonald's and Burger Kings and, you know, these dumb commercials. I get Popeyes. And wonder why.
With the long lines.
I'm so sick of that commercial. So, and wonder why our health is failing us. Now, I live in the South.
That's right.
I live in Memphis, right next to Mississippi. Mississippi is one of the most obese states in the nation. Memphis is one of the most unhealthy cities in the nation. I have an article here from Time Magazine. It asks the question, why do Black die young? It says, the gap in life expectancy between the races in America remains wide. The search for the cause run from poverty to prejudice to lifestyle. See, how to eat to live comes to change our lifestyle. So if you look at the hospitals now, right now I have what I call my play brother. He's in the hospital suffering with COVID, but he's 300-some pounds and he can't breathe. I have an aunt, an uncle, and a daughter, and their daughter suffering from COVID. I lost my fishing buddy, my basketball buddy, and I lost a church friend who I grew up with. She came out of COVID and said a few words to her mother and then had a stroke because they didn't know then that COVID, one of the side effects of COVID was blood clotting. So they're still confused about this disease. Well, why is our blood clotting? What is our cholesterol? Why are we obese? See, we can't keep blaming white folks for our problem now. Once God gives us a divine leader, divine revelation in our midst, then he holds us responsible for that body of knowledge and that divine revelation. So if we refuse to submit to it, then we suffer. I submitted to it, I thank Allah. I came into the nation in 1989. I've been trying to practice how to live and live by the restrictive law. Every now and then we fall down, but we get up. But I thank Allah when I was and watching CNN news, and as the death count went up, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid because I remember the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan praying for the essential workers. I knew I'd been practicing how to eat to live. There was those calling me, telling me, you need to go to the hospital, Brother James. You've been running a fever one-on-one for 6 days. I refused to go to the emergency room because I knew the condition of the emergency rooms. But I knew how I felt my body fighting. And you know, one thing I learned while I was going through this, that those in the Nation of Islam, we have a supporting cast. We have the believers took care of me. They felt. Just excuse me.
Beautiful. 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 Yes, just sir.
Because you have to.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You know, I mean, my phone and my text, I had 150-some texts. There was those who came by my house to check on me, who dropped food off, dropped Paxamune off for free, dropped raw milk off.
Beautiful.
I thank Allah for Brother Clyde. I thank Allah for Sister Doris. I thank Allah for Brother Minister Anthony and Sister Rashida, who was the RN. She made sure the believers took care of me. Now, many people don't have that type of support.
That's right.
So that's why I love being in the
Yes, sir.
You know, because, you know, it was like being in a hospital. So I knew if I made a call, immediate family members would be here, bring me things. So, but there's those who out there who are dying alone, who don't have any help.
That's right.
So, brothers and sisters, be grateful for the Honorable Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. If you look at me, I'm back to working out, I'm back to running, and there's no side effects. Men are having side effects. I'm not having any side effects. But you know,
beautiful.
I jokingly say, I said, you know, the love was so good, I wouldn't mind catching COVID again. Because the believers were
great not. Just a little levity, y'all. Just a little levity.
But
That's
you know,
beautiful.
and then you have family members who are suffering now. And,
yes.
So Allah know how to make himself known through the believers also. But how to eat to live is so important now for us as believers. So, you know, my regimen starts with, you know, you have to eat your raw vegetables, your beets, your spinach, everything that is in message to the black man. You have to have live food every day. Your bananas, your apples. You know, we eat too much cooked food. We don't eat enough live food. And there's a difference. So when you sit down at your table tonight, you look at your plate, ask yourself, what is on my plate that is live, uncooked, healthy, organic? See, your body needs it right now because, you know, there is a COVID stress that is going on among people. I work in an area where we call it overdose area. People are overdosing and committing suicide.
Yes.
Because
that's facts.
Losing their jobs, they're losing their homes and their cars. See, you have to be mentally prepared. That's why Friday night study class is so important, because there is an emotional factor that comes with COVID-19. Men are beating their wives, domestic violence going up. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but one of the first things that I thought about as well, and I know it's the D word that nobody wants to talk about, Dianetics.
That's right.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that had to be about, what, 5 years ago, said there should be an auditor, a trained auditor in every household. Do you remember when he said that?
Right. Yes, ma'am.
In every household, he said there should be a trained auditor. And for those who are not familiar with Dianetics, I'm encouraging you to look it up. Maybe we'll have a show about it in the near future. But it's a tool from the Church of Scientology that the Honorable Ms. Louis Farrakhan encouraged us to study to help us alleviate ourselves of physical and emotional pain. And when we're talking about the pain of losing a job, the pain involved in these ailments, the virus itself, the pestilence, the pain of watching a loved one suffer, the pain. Just recently, we saw a little boy there in Mississippi where his parents actually brought him to a Goodwill because they were afraid they could not provide for him. There's a pain involved in that as parents, that you are not able to provide for your children the way you know you should and the way you desire to. And so with this tool, it would help to relieve us of that pain so that we can think analytically and less based upon the pain that we're experiencing and make better decisions for ourselves and for our families. And so I just wanted to add that very important point that the minister gave us in divine guidance many moons ago, that many of us may have started and then stopped because, you know, things got good for us. You know how we do. It's kind of like somebody who goes to the gym. Look, my husband looking at me. They go to the gym, they start working out, and you start feeling good because you're working out, and then all of a sudden you stop.
That's right.
And what happens? You revert. Right. And so it's the same thing when we're talking about using that Dianetic tool as a corrective mechanism to help us through this very trying time that's only going to get worse. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off or anything like that, but I just wanted to share that with the audience who may be looking for additional tools that was given to us in this guidance from the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, ma'am. Well, sister, you know, we exist on 3 levels. Spiritual,
yes, sir.
So we in the Nation of Islam, we have a prescription for every level. The spiritual aspect has to be strong too. That's why the self-improvement basis for community development Study course is so important, particularly rising above
yes, sir.
God, overcoming difficulty, the struggle for balance, the God within.
Right.
It was the God within me that helped me to fight this virus. But also,
beautiful.
Divine revelation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, look at him.
Yes.
With your physical eye, but means study him. If you're not connected to divine revelation and you don't know the time and what must be done, then you'll find yourself now compromising your life, listening to Dr. Fauci, listening to Trump or Biden, or listening to all the scientists. The minister stated, this is a pestilence from heaven. Well, a pestilence from heaven cannot be conquered by scientists from hell.
Good point.
Your doctor today is the
good point.
So on a spiritual
level,
if you're not connected to him, then you won't make it. But how is our mental status?
That's right.
You lose your job, you lose your car, you lose your home during this pandemic. You're married. Do you start beating your wife, beating your children? Do you start drinking? Can you rise above your emotions to the thinking of God? But we know on a physical level, Black people are in a terrible condition. So this virus complements us. So diabetes, before I was a firefighter, I worked in a dialysis clinic as a technical supervisor. When I first came to the dialysis business, at Gamble, we ran one shift a day, approximately 32 patients. 90% of the patients were Black and over 50. 2021, check your strip malls. There's a dialysis clinic in every strip mall. They run 3 to 4 shifts. 90% of the patients are Black, but they're younger too. We are the most obese in our community. So when we get this virus now, we already start out downhill.
Right.
So those in the community who don't believe this virus is real, who believe in the mystery God, this virus is real. Talk to those on the front line who are battling this virus. And when it hits you, if you haven't invested anything in, then guess what? Don't expect to get anything out.
That's right. We sure don't, brother. However, I also want to share, it's never too late to start to change. And I think it's important to understand that. The sooner that we, because I don't want to make it seem like it's somebody else, the sooner that we get on the path to aligning ourselves more and more with the guidance that we're being given through How to Eat to Live, through the self-improvement study guides, through the Dianetics as a tool, the more that we will be in a place of being able to survive. That's the language the minister used, survive. And so it's not too late to do that. Someone may be watching this program and say, well, shoot, you've had 20-something years as a vegetarian in eating How to Eat to Live. I'm on 7 meals a day. What you talking about, brother? Like what can I do now? Even if you go from 7 to 5 or 7 to 3 or 7 to 2, it still puts you in a better position than you were yesterday.
Right.
It's all a process. And one of many things I appreciate about How to Eat to Live is that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad don't tell you to stop everything at one time. There's only one thing he asks us to stop immediately from eating, and that's the pork.
That's right.
Everything else in How to Eat to Live volumes 1 and 2 is progressional. So he takes us in stages. So that says to me, in all humility, that it's a process. Just get in the process. And it will put you in a better position than you were yesterday. I wanted to read this quick quote from Boris Johnson out of the UK, which would be, I think, a good pivot for us into where we're headed. But before I do that, let me thank those who are on Instagram, who are watching and commenting live. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining BBI Talks. You come out and virtually and show up and show out every Wednesday, every week, and I really appreciate you. And I can't thank you enough. So thank you. I want to thank those who are also watching on Facebook and on YouTube. I have been getting some responses from dear brother Rakib, and pardon me if I'm mispronouncing your name. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your greetings. It really is truly appreciated. And I also want to take the time to thank our wonderful sponsors, which is the Reparations Institute here in Atlanta, Georgia. The Declaration for Reparations is ready and it is available for purchase. So please, please, please do not forget to get your copy. We will be sure to leave you all of the contact information for you to get your copy in the show notes. So I thank you for that sponsorship, the Reparations Institute. Thank you for seeing enough in this show to want to support it financially to keep us going. I also want to thank Ninth and Maxwell, which is it's a Black-owned nail polish, vegan nail polish cosmetic company, and it's owned by a wonderful sister. I want to thank you for your support as well, your sponsorship of the show, and we are continuing to get sponsorships, and it's growing. And I just want to say thank you, and thank you. So here's a quote, Brother James, from Boris Johnson, who just made an announcement. I don't know if you've been checking out what's happening in the UK, but I think it's important for us to see what's happening over there because all of that is going to make its way back here to America. So on his most recent announcement, he said, quote, "Our advisory group on new and emerging respiratory virus threats, or NERV-TAG, has spent the last few days analyzing this new variant." Of course, he's talking about this mutated COVID virus that has found its way in England. He continues, "There's no evidence that it causes more severe illness or higher mortality, but it does appear to be passed on significantly more easily. NERV-TAG's early analysis suggests the new variant could increase the R by 0.4 or more. And although there's considerable uncertainty, it may be up to 7% more transmissible than the original version of the disease. This is early data and it's subject to review, but it's the best that we have at the moment. And we have to act on information as we have it because this is now spreading very fast." And I just wanted to share that quote, Brother James, and get your thoughts on that.
Yes, ma'am. Well, remember, sister, I'm like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Mentos Farrakhan said he wouldn't give 2% to the scholars of this world. Those are a set of facts, but we have actual facts. Remember, the Honorable Mentos Farrakhan stated, this is a pestilence from heaven. That's our basis. I don't think it's coincidence.
Yes, sir.
That they started getting excited about this vaccine that we've been instructed by the Honorable Mentos Farrakhan not to take. Then all of a sudden, this new virus comes out. Think about it now. Every time they get excited and think they're going to conquer this, Allah hits them with something else.
Come on now.
See, Allah is requiring, excuse me, 100% submission. If they want to get rid of this virus, they got to come through the Honorable Mentos Farrakhan. You can size it up all you want. It's not going to stop until we do right by Allah and submit to his commands. This is a pestilence from heaven. You can size it up. And about time the world finished taking this vaccine, guess what? You saw the nurse the other day. you know, she was talking and then she began to pass out. Now they finding out there's a lot of side effects from this vaccine. Brothers and sisters, are we tired yet? until we
come on now.
until we listen to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, guess what? Allah is going to whip the hell out of us. I'm reminded of a surah in the Holy Quran where it asks the question, do you wonder that a reminder have come to you from among yourselves to remind you that we may guard against evil? See, if you're in doubt about the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, you're wondering, we're in trouble. Go back. I believe 1991, the international conspiracy of the bankers. The minister have been warning the Black community about the plan of this government, the chastisement of Allah. He warned us when he went to DC at the Watergate Hotel for Black people to change their lifestyle.
Yes.
So this new so-called variant of this disease that has come out, it's a lot. Let you know you can come up with any virus you want to, any vaccine that you want to. That's right. I got something for that too. You know.
That's right. Yeah. And they already know that the conversation about it is that with there being this mutated virus, they don't know whether or not the vaccine that they're trying to push off on everybody is going to work or not. And to your point, it probably will not work because, you know, as it relates to these vaccines, though, I am in 1,000% agreement and obedience to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that we will not be taking that vaccine. And I think this is the time. This is the time that we need to really look at our households, our family members, and come up, if we don't already have one, with a game plan of what we are going to do when, not if, when the time comes when they'll be trying to make you choose between employment and this vaccine, or sending your child to one of these killing fields, aka these schools, or giving them a vaccine. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, there is a House resolution being debated that would allow a young person to decide for themselves as to whether or not they want to take the vaccine without their parental consent. So that means that they can have our children in these school buildings and say, who here wants to get a vaccine shot? And line your child up with all the other children and give them vaccination shots and not contact you first to get your authorization as a parent. We have to be very, very aware of what is going on in the name of this vaccine that is really just a moneymaker. We're talking about trillions of dollars in this vaccine push. And to your point in terms of the impact, Brother James, they already saw overseas neurological damage from these. So I tell you, dear brother, you're so spot on with that. So what is it that I'm sorry.
So you said something earlier about working out and those who might be obese who feel like it's too late for them to get started. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, sir. Muhammad taught us that the first exercise is walking. Just start walking in the sun. Two things you can start doing is go evaluate your refrigerator. Get rid of all the white sugar, white flour in your refrigerator, in your cabinets. Go buy the book How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Take this book to your kitchen. And then start looking what's in your cabinet, what's in your refrigerator. If it's not in this book, throw it away immediately. First of all, you got to fall in love with yourself. Our people don't love themselves. And that's the problem. See, I work out, I go hiking, I try to practice how to eat to live because someone taught me how to fall in love with myself. Let me share something with you real quick. I used to suffer from cluster headaches.
Please.
The nickname for cluster headaches is called suicide headaches because a lot of people kill themselves when they started having these headaches. I was on verapamil, which was a strong medication. I would take Tract injections with me wherever I go. These headaches would come 3 and 4 times a day. I would be off work for a whole month. Those who know me watch me suffer through this headache. When I started practicing how to eat to live, the headaches went away. I saw neurologist after neurologist. I tried all type of medication from Sensor to Mintran to verapamil. Nothing will solve these headaches. Do you know it was an MGT in Oakland, California, who told me if I practice how to eat to live and clean my colon, then the headaches would go away. So I came off meats.
Wow.
Came off pork. Yes, I started drinking the raw milk. The headache gradually went away, then they just disappeared. Later on in life, research came out. My headaches were directly related to my diet. So the neurologist gave me a list of foods that I shouldn't eat that would cause these headaches to come back. Guess what? All those foods was in How to Eat to Live. So all I had to do was submit. Told me, come off red meat. Come off white sugar. Yes. Come off pasteurized milk. White flour. All of these things are in How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, I was too busy listening to the neurologist who was a scientist and not listening to divine revelation coming from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the solution I had was right in my home on the shelf. All I had to do was submit. So those who are afraid about getting started, it's mind over matter. Put something in your mind that will take control over your matter and get out and just start doing it. But you have to start in your kitchen. You have to start in your kitchen. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. I appreciate that. I don't. Wherever you want to take the conversation, that's fine, brother. You know, these last few weeks we have been focusing on growing our own food, because of course, remember I said this is in stages. So if you don't have access to certain types of food, you know, you choose the best that is available to you. However, as you pursue growth in that area, then one thing that we can consider is growing our own food. And it doesn't have to be so involved where you have acres and acres of land to do that. You know, you can start out with pot and growing fresh produce, like you said, raw produce right there off of your balcony, your apartment, right? Or off the patio or in front of your front door. I've seen people do that. There's a sister here. I don't know if you know, we called her affectionately Mother Dolores. And you know, may Allah be pleased. And whenever you would go to her home, she had stuff growing. Now she's in a townhome now, right? that is, you know, a cluster of townhomes. And she had the only townhome that in front of her door, she was growing food right there in those small little, you know, green sections in front of her home. But it was an eye opener for me, because it's like, wow, you can do all of that with just that small piece of land. So I just wanted to share that to co-sign on what you're saying, dear brother, about how things don't have to be so elaborate for us to get started. There are simple things we can do where we are.
So you know what, let me go back to your original question. Where should we start in combating this virus?
Yes, sir.
Well, brothers and sisters, the Nation of Islam have already started combating this virus. The MGT class, the sister have been taught how to store foods, how to can food. Matter of fact, they produced a video. I played that video on New Woman, New Nation on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. where you will be coming on soon with your beautiful show.
Yes.
How to make bean soup.
Thank you.
So one of the most important things we can learn to do, and do it as a family, store food like grandmother used to do. Go buy the mason jars before they sell out. Trust me, white people are
right.
We used to laugh at the preppers. We're not laughing at the preppers now. So when you go to the store and you find out there are no beans, I remember we couldn't find navy beans anywhere. But just think about this, how we're blessed. The Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan invested money into our farm equipment, paying people. He loves us so much that he knew some of us didn't have beans in our home. He sent out 20-pound bags of beans to brothers and sisters in the nation, starting with the elderly and the single mothers. Didn't ask us for 1 penny. Think about that now. That's a beautiful man. So you and your family have to tune in to the Self-Improvement Show on a Monday night to learn more, but also the New Woman, New Nation, because they'll teach you how to can food, how to cook bean soup. One of the best foods that you can buy is a navy bean, and learn how to make the bean soup. But also,
that's right,
you must come together in your home with your family and have a plan. See, one of the reasons I hike, because I want to understand nature. You know, you got to learn where to go, where there's fresh water at. Do you have a tent? Can you live outside? You know, can you live outside in cold weather? What is your physical condition if you have to go somewhere and hike for a while? See, Black folks are not ready for that. You know, we're not like the old time people who lived in the country, who went right in the backyard and milked their cows, who went into their garden, got their food that was growing in their garden, went to the pond and caught them some fish. No, we are totally dependent on Piggly Wiggly, Kroger's, places like that.
Publix,
chicken. And trust me, we do not watch the news and we don't read the newspaper. So when something come out, in the news, they drop little secrets. White people going empty the shelves. Do you have a water filter at home? Do you have a mobile water filter? I bought one at REI camping store that it can filter up to 10,000 gallons of water. It's about the size of a cell phone with a plastic bag on it. See, are we really ready to be confined to our home? But you said, what if your job tell you, well, you can't work here anymore if you don't take the vaccine? And you're the provider in your house. How long can you stay in your house? How long can you eat out of your house? See, these are the things we have to think about. And the Honorable Minister Farrakhan have been preparing the Nation of Islam and warning the Nation of Islam. You know, how much medication do you have stored up in your home? Do you have discipline in your home? See, if you don't have any discipline in your home, you have children who won't listen, teenagers who's going to go out, smoke weed, hang out with friends and bring the virus back to the home. See, these are the things we have to think about. You know, obedience is better than sacrifice. This thing is serious.
That's right. That's right. And I'm looking at this next stimulus package that it passed, I believe, the Senate and the House. Excuse me, threatening to veto it because he's saying, you know, it's not sufficient. Whether the money comes or it doesn't come, right? One of the things that I would, you know, strongly encourage those who are watching this to consider, if you're able to take all that money that is deposited into your account and buy the supplies that dear brother James is talking about with that money, then do that. If you can't use all the money, use a portion of that money and get your tent, get your, you know, brother James, I went to Walmart and got a lot of that stuff. And the sisters who were ringing up my items, they said, well, are you going on a camping trip? And I said, no. They said, well, where's all this stuff going? I said, it's going in my trunk of my car because I never know if I'm out, if I will, you know, be stuck somewhere because of the weather. And then I don't have what I need supply wise, you know, to hang in there until I can get home. Now that was all pre-COVID, right? So to your point, if we know, if that money comes, we can't be quick to use that money on things that are not necessary, right? But really consider using that money to secure some things. And for those of you who are interested in knowing about some of these supplies, I think what I'm going to do, Brother James, is if people begin to send me their email address, I'm going to send them abbreviated list, because that's all I have left, unless you have something longer, of a survival kit, and email that to everyone who sends their email address, and I will email that to you. So that way you have a list of what supplies you need to get and store in your home. And so I think that would be something that would be beneficial for those who are watching.
And there's a sister down in Atlanta, Georgia, Sister Taquilla Muhammad, who's a specialist on setting up survival kits, and she would be here. She's on Facebook. A beautiful sister who was very knowledgeable on survival. But Black people, we're waiting on a stimulus check. But what are you going to do with it when you get? Do you really need another flat screen? Another cell phone?
Or no. No.
The Holy Quran says, surely the shock of the hour is a grievous thing. The day you see it,
grievous thing. That's right.
Women would be giving up their suckling. You know, the minister warned us we're going to go through 3 hard years, and 1 year is going to be harder than the other. You know, I'm just trying to get out of 2020. You know, sane.
Come on now.
But it's easy.
Survive.
When you're connected to the man of God. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, go where he say go. Stay from where he say stay from.
That's right.
And he hit you on the other side. He won't say, look what I have done. He will say, all praise is due to Allah. Why do we say that? The Honorable Minister Farrakhan have never lied to us. He have a proven
That's right.
And God. He don't represent himself. He makes
That's right.
Of himself. When he speaks,
reputation of himself. That's right.
He just stands up there and God take control over him. You know, I'm listening to some of these preachers on these shows, and they're not really guiding the people through these troubled times. They're really not.
Right.
You need a leader, a divine leader who's going to guide you through. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us read at least 2 newspapers a day. Watch the news. See, when you listen to those Farrakhan, you're able to read between the lines of the lies that they're telling us.
That's right. That's right.
By revelation. When you listen to Sister Ava,
that's right.
Able to define what they're saying, then you can fact check it with truth, you know. So
yes,
stay connected to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. Now I'm gonna tell you now, go back and study July 4th lecture to the world. But sister, you know we really take this serious now. I'm a living testimony, and that's a blessing because a lot of people didn't make it. You know, I thank Allah for allowing me to come back to share my testimony because, you know, I said to myself, well, I've been working hard for 30-some years with the divine messenger. I've brought people into the nation. I've taken the final call. I've paid charity. I've consistently stood with the minister. I've sacrificed. I said, I'm good. I'm good. Even if I die, I'm good. But I kind of had a feeling I would make it through this. I really did. I had
sir.
Even though that's 6 nights, when I was hurting so bad, I kind of passed out for like 45 seconds. And I came to it and I was sweating. And I looked in the mirror and I just busted out laughing. And I went back and sat on the couch. And I have a bird. Everybody know I've had this parrot for over 30-something years.
Yeah.
Musa. And you met Musa. And
yes.
Saying, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. When I heard his voice, I said, hey, I'm still here. And then Brother John packed me off and I started spraying the Paximune in. And after I started using the Paximune, my temperature dropped. The alpha interferon. You know, I'm not trying to make a commercial for it, but nothing else could drop.
Right.
I was taking too much Tylenol, but I shot that Paximune in my nose, and the next day I felt good. I felt so good, I said I'm going to walk around the block. Now my legs felt like jelly, but I made it around the block and I sat in a chair in the sun. So, you know, that's my testimony, you know. You know, I'm not making it up real. And you know, my mother is suffering from pancreatic cancer, so I couldn't go around her. So I knew she was worried. She was more worried about me than I was worried about myself. And so I thank Allah for allowing us to make it through. And coming out of this, you know, we found out that her pancreatic cancer has shrank down, and there's nowhere else in her body.
Beautiful.
She's on her bike for 30 minutes a day. So he's gonna bring us both through.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, that's beautiful, brother. Allahu Akbar. I'm so glad to hear that. And I thank you. You know, we got to go ahead and bring this conversation to a close. Unfortunately, I could truly be on here with you, you know, all day, all night, just talking about divine revelation and how beautiful it is to strive to live it and to share it, because there's healing and renewal in sharing. There was something that you said a little bit earlier about being mindful, for us to be mindful to listen and to be obedient to the instructions of the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, because everything that he shared, he's never lied to us. He's always told us the truth. And I'm reminded of a verse in the book of Deuteronomy, when the question was asked, well, how do you know if that one is of God? Right. And the response was, because everything that he says comes to pass. Right. And everything that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has shared with us has come to pass and is coming to pass and will continue to come to pass. We just have to read these words, study him, study what he's sharing with us, reflect on it. And like you said, look out into the world, and the world and the events of the world will bear witness to what he has shared. And we see it all the time. So I want to thank you, Brother James, for coming on BBI Talk. Thank you enough, my dear brother. I'm so happy that you are healed. And I'm looking forward to many more works to come from you in the name of the God, the exalted Christ, and the Messiah in our midst. And I thank you. And you expressed the announcement, so I'm just going to reiterate it. And that is, brother has been so gracious to allow BBI Talks to come into the mighty city of Memphis and South Haven, Mississippi. And we're going to have BBI Talks on New Woman, New Nation, which is a show that airs every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And so those of you who are in that metro area will be able to turn on your Comcast cable to channel 17 on Saturday morning and watch BBI Talks. And we have some really great things in store for you out there. And I thank you for the opportunity, dear brother. I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you even acknowledging that what we have to share on this show is worthy to be broadcast where you are. And so I thank you for that, brother. And I can't thank you enough. May Allah continue to bless you in all of your endeavors. And I thank you, audience. Thank you for tuning in. And that brings BBI Talks to a close. I want to thank our sponsors one more time. The Reparations Institute, 9th and Maxwell. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And did you have anything else that you wanted to say to close out, brother?
No, I just like
any few.
Thank you and your husband for having me on the show. I appreciate you very much. And also remember, brothers and sisters, get the Self-Improvement Basics for Community Development Study Guides from the Final Call website. Also, make sure you get How to Eat to Live. Make this a part of your medicine cabinet. And I thank you, sister,
yes,
on the show. And hopefully I'll see you soon on New Women, New Nation Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 17 here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. All right, then all praises due to Allah. All right, y'all, that's BBI Talks.
We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad, they gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man, get what I need out of the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad, they gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out of the land. Glad that I know where I